Good morning, it's me again. I'm feeling tired, probably from the weather. But Shania got me some polyfill, and they picked me up a few skeins of yarn when they were at my store. Um, One of the other vendors sells yarn. I don't know where she got it from, but she sells it. So, I think she's the landlord vendor that comes up that sells stuff to mitigate people's financial issues, which is great. I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but I love getting the yarn. I don't know where she's getting it from. I love getting it. She gets me colors like there's hot red. I can't get that anymore. They found a white, and then it was like an amethyst purple. Um, but they're like 7 ounce skeins, so they are definitely good, like 7 or 8 ounce skeins. Except the white. The white is a type that's hard to get. Um, but yeah, I'm doing a lot better today, I think. Trying to be more positive. Yes, just really tired. I might take a nap after I do this, which is good. You can nap. Napping is good. Um, there's been so much going on with people. We're noticing there's a lot more crime. There's a lot more fear. A lot more everything. The family's having a a bunch of issues with like financial stuff popping up. It's nothing major, but it's like we need to get this, we need to get that. Um, it's like I needed both types of shoes. Then the filters for the air thingies are needing to be changed. They're like $60 a piece. It's expensive. So trying to do that, and my check is doing fairly well. I still have like a week left to get some sales, and I'm like $92 or something like that, for what's actually gonna be my check, which is really good. And I started making smaller versions of the little kitty. That's gonna be so cute. Because when I do my patterns, I like to do like a big version and then a smaller version. So you get like the expensive one, oh, even though it's not gonna be that expensive. But like this one will be the more expensive one, and then this one will be like your economy. Ones like this will Ones like this will be like the ones you get for um if you have money, and then this would be like the cheaper one. But they're both cute. They're both very cute. I want to make little clothes. I've got some little clothes going for this guy already because I started making the clothes. Wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to get polyfill because of all the financial stuff that's going on. Yeah, something was on my face. I had to get it off. Uh, Fibro creates sensory issues, so I can't just wait. Um, Yeah, so today's pretty good so far. This week's been pretty good so far. The weather is getting to me. The thunderstorms last night, they were pretty cool. The cats were freaking out. It was great. Um, but it makes me very, very tired for some reason. I'm not sure why that is, but yeah, it happens, and I'm just not feeling that great. But I'm not sick or anything. That makes sense to people. I'm not sick, I just don't feel good. It's kind of a fibro thing. You're not really sick, but you don't really feel good either. Your energy's gone, you're in pain. It's just sometimes your brain can't think and you fall asleep while you're talking. That's great. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to get as much as I can done today to get some stuff done because I want to get the kitties in before the sale so that I can see if people show interest in them when they're not on sale. But um, yeah, maybe take some pictures of them or get the little seals and otters and stuff going. And there's just so much to do for crafts to get it going, and it's just a lot. And um, if I had Social Security, it wouldn't be such a big deal. Or if I had some kind of just a set income, it wouldn't be such a big deal. Oh, and I keep hearing about the Patreons, which might be a good thing, but then you have to put other content on the Patreons, and I don't know how to do that. And I mean, I don't even have an editor. I don't have a space that's appropriate for this, and I don't have an editor. And those are things I gotta work on. I gotta figure out how to do this. I have figured out a charity to back, if I can ever get to that point. Because Scraps was really good with helping us with the kitty. They'd actually put traps out in other areas because we mentioned that we started noticing several of the not completely feral strays after they condemned the building. And apparently they caught something like a dozen cats, maybe more, that were not fully feral. And one of them was the sickly cat that was coming up here, little Shadow Boy. He was in much worse shape than I thought, if it is the same cat, and they're not sure if he's gonna make it, but at least he gets to not be cold, no food, yet having to deal with storms outside. At least he'll be put down humanely if that needs to be done. But they are gonna try to save him because he's very cute. He's very friendly. He might calm right down and be a really good pet once he gets healthy, if they can get him healthy. But we'll just see what happens. I'm hoping they can help him up. And then almost as soon as they took the cage saying they caught him, this other little black cat comes up, and it's about the same age, and about the same age, about the same size, only it's healthier, it's cleaner, it's got more meat on its bones, and it was also coming up looking for food. So these animals are used to people. They are used to people feeding them. I don't get why people would do that. Like, it looks like we maybe had a cat hoarder um, that was letting them breed. There's With that situation, I wouldn't be surprised if most of the cats that they did catch need to be put down because they're probably really, really sick. The thing with cat hoarders is you get too many cats in a small area, and you can't keep up with it. You can't keep them fed right. You can't keep them clean. It's just your whole life would be just cleaning the boxes and feeding the cats. You wouldn't really have time to do anything else. And at a certain point, you can't even do that. So they start getting sick. And then, of course, if they're not fixed, you'll start dealing very quickly with issues like inbreeding. And that's not good. So I'm hoping that most of the kitties are salvageable. It's just I'm very sad that the one that I wanted to save might not be. But at least he's not suffering anymore. He's somewhere getting medical care, so that's good. So I think I will be, whenever I can afford to, I might be giving some monies to Scraps to help, so that they can actually help with other situations like this. Because I know that the care for kitties that have been neglected and inbred and all that stuff it's very expensive, and a lot of times they can't save them. When they come from situations like that, if they find out that I've heard they find out they're sick at all, they put them down because they're just pretty bad. Like if Little Shadow has some kind of genetic condition or long-term health issue, STDs in cats, what is it? Feline leukemia is transmitted sexually, apparently. I don't remember that for sure, but I think that's what they were telling me. Um, and so you wind up with kittens that are born with it, and it's just because the feline leukemia is different than people leukemia. I can't remember how. Feline leukemia is a virus and people leukemia is cancer, is what I think it is. But they do the same thing to the body. So yeah. So I do know that when cats get in that situation, they often have to get put down, especially if they're found skinny and with abscesses and stuff like that. I'm hoping that he doesn't have anything like that. I'm hoping that they can get him healthy and clean him up, get some meat on his little bones, give him some shots, and get him to somebody that actually wants him. I mean, I love animals. Animals are great for de-stressing, and if people can afford to, I would really encourage them to get pets. It teaches you a lot. Their responsibility, of course. So if you don't have the mind for the responsibility of it, don't. or get something that's easier, look into their care needs to what would work um, with your lifestyle. I mean, there's a reason people keep goldfish. I get it is put a pinch of food in their bowl and walk away. You clean it out every so often, but your daily routine is a pinch of food, and that's all. And then they're interesting little things moving around in their bowl, and you don't get that. You don't feel like you're completely alone. But I like cats. The care is easy. They pay you back tenfold. They don't stink like dogs do. They're not as annoying as dogs are, though they definitely are annoying. Having an animal is a lot like having a young child, especially if you got a cat or dog. Um, and then some of your more exotic things, you may not need to feed it every day, but you have to make sure that it's warm enough. You have to make sure it's got enough water. You have to do this, you have to do that. And some of them even need special care. Yikes. So yeah, definitely before getting a pet, do your research. It's definitely a benefit to have a pet. In America, I do, because I'm in America, places like America and Europe, I would definitely recommend cats and dogs over exotics. Um, because they're much easier to care for. The stuff they need is easier to get. And especially right now, in times where things, for whatever reason, things are getting harder to get, or sometimes you can't get them at all for a while. Um, yeah, having a pet you can easily get their food is a really good idea. Like my son watches Travel Trolls. I like to watch Travel Trolls with my son, and Dan's got bird feeders, and he got a little hedgehog set up because a little hedgehog was running around. Stuff like that. You don't track certain animals into your yard, so you just have something to watch. Um, that's if you can afford to. Um, that's a great way to have some sort of interaction. Because I know right now, one of my issues, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's still feeling like this, is it's really difficult to get out. I don't have enough money. I can't get a job. Don't have any friends here. Feel like I'm really isolated, and it, I'm starting to feel like I'm feral, and I need to like go to counseling or something. But I keep forgetting to check to see um, if I can do counseling online. Because it seems like I'm going to have a much better chance of getting in to see a counselor if I do it online, because they're just the only clinic that takes my insurance here in Spokane has a 10-year waiting list, and they heavily prefer homeless people. I get it, but seriously, can we get better health here? Better mental health services here? Because like the biggest problem that we have with the homeless community that I'm seeing, because the camp is like right there. I'm just glad they're a few blocks away, because with the whole propane popping off, that was a little frightening. Um, um, because that could have been super bad. Thankfully, it wasn't. Thank God the cops were investigating something else and had just happened to be in the area and witnessed it happen, and got the fire department there very quickly. I have not heard if the couple that accidentally started the fire are okay or not. But the last that I did hear, it did not look good, especially for the female. Apparently, she was closer to the heater that exploded. They were using some kind of gas heater, and they were topping it off while it was on. Yeah, don't do that. um, but yeah, I don't know if they're okay or not. It wouldn't surprise me if they passed. But I think everybody is grateful that only they were hurt. Um, and we're able to get everybody else away from it, and they got the fire department there before it got like really super bad. Some of the other propane tanks that were nearby did pop off, which was a little bit scary as well. Um, but yeah, the biggest problem that I've noticed with those people is that they are in need of more than just housing. Um, Almost all of the ones that we see are on drugs. Drugs, alcohol, addiction. It's a huge problem in that community. Also, severe mental health issues. They need it. I wish we could come up with some kind of program where they could go into like a clinic, and then you get like a nice house, like your own apartment, and then you can do whatever this person's particular needs are will be met. Um, but that's probably expensive, and I don't know if that people have enough money or if they've not, or if they even thought about that, because it's like, yeah, this is crazy. What's we're letting them both that there's so many people that are criminally active in that community and nobody's getting arrested, and that we're letting them be in that field. It's like the community just waiting for them to die, and they do die, and that's just not right. I don't know what to do about that. So I kind of went off on a little tangent about that. But I mean, it's gonna get worse before it gets better, because things are just it's just the way things are, and a lot of people don't really understand what's happening. Um, and then of course I'm seeing all kinds of weird political posting that just doesn't seem to make any sense to me, and um, I'm not really sure why they're going after some of the people that I've noticed in the posts, but my son thinks they're jealous, but I don't know. There might have been something I was not aware of that happened or people thought happened, and that's perfectly okay for people to believe what they want to believe. But yeah, try not to offend your friends because you're gonna need them. Yeah, so I'm gonna just checking in. I'm trying to be more positive. My life has been a bit more positive. I'm just struggling with this financial situation that we've managed to get ourselves into. It's a little bit of an issue, but it's not terrible. It's just like we've fallen behind on a bill. That one. Um, we need things done that aren't getting done, and it's things that we need money to do. Um, yeah, it's just it is what it is. So I'm trying to figure that out. But I will say the good news is that my check is only already like $92 or something. And that's like a lot better than that's better than last month. It's not gonna quite cover everything, but it is better than last month, and I may be able to get one of the filters, and I might be able to get I might still be able to afford to get some yarn so that I can advance with my stocks. One of my projects I have to work on advancing are the glow in the darks, and um, the kitties and the otters and the seals, and apparently mushrooms or something like that. And I might need to do a few more Hello's kitties. I'm actually thinking about putting a bunch of them up so that they'll be there for the sale. Like the off-season ones that we don't need anymore. Um, I don't know. Uh, all I know is I'm really tired, and I'm actually considering going back to bed because of the weather, which happens. But yeah, I'm trying to be more positive. I think we could be more positive. Maybe the world just needs more positives. I guess I should be glad that the stuff that seems to be happening, which is the indicators as to why they said we're in a depression, is mostly the tech industry and issues within agriculture. The agriculture issues can resolve themselves. One of the issues we are having with food shortages is that the two biggest nations that produce produce and sometimes meat for winter consumptions, one is on fire and the other one is flooded. It's just a weird thing that happens just every so often, and it'll resolve itself and it'll be fine. But that's something to keep in mind, is that Chile and I think it's Brazil, which and it's probably affecting Argentina because it's in there. Those are our countries where we get our produce for through the winter from, and it's where we get some produce just in general because that's where it grows, and it's like the only place in the world it grows, which is why they're talking about the cocoa shortage, because these unfortunate situations in South America may actually that's the only place that the coca plant. No, that's the only place in the South America is the only place where they grow. There's some little weird island nation that's like, we're trying, but it might not be enough. The chocolate shortage hasn't really hit yet. but it's fine. We'll get through it. I'm really wanting chocolate right now anyway. I mean, it's rich and it's creating issues, but I want to get the candies that have dextrose because they actually help with my pain. Um, I don't know why it is, but with some people's metabolisms, dextrose works as a pain med. It'll relieve pain. It doesn't work for everybody, and if you're like diabetic or something, you might not want to do that. But it is something to keep in mind if you're a chronic pain sufferer and you can't get your medications. It's not going to work as well as prescription drugs, but for me, it helps a lot, and it doesn't have the side effects of the that you get with prescription drugs. But I do have to be careful not to eat too many because then I get sugar feeling that I don't like that. But yeah, it's little things to keep in mind. So always, always, when you go to the store, have a backup plan. Um, and be flexible with what your thinking is, and how your cooking skills are. Like my cooking skills are good. You could just give me random ingredients and I could make a dish. Um, so yeah, that's a thing. Um, John's kind of starting. My son-in-law's kind of starting to cook in the same fashion that I do, though he's cooking different things. He's kind of playing around with it. Will this work? Will that work? Let's figure out what if we can make what we have work. And that's how people survived the Great Depression. No, this isn't as bad as that. So we do have a few options as to what we can do. But the thing is, it's really important to try to keep a job. Um, it's okay to switch jobs if the one you have is really bad, but I would say just make sure you have your new job before you quit your old job, because you need to make sure you have your rent and bills paid, because that's really important, or you wind up in the field with those crazy loonies and people will just lump you in with that group. That's really sad to see so many people like that. And just everybody just assumes that everybody over there is a drug addict. I don't think they are, but I do think that they're probably not playing with all the cards if they would feel like it's okay to be in a field with a bunch of people that are drug addicts, especially with some of the stuff that's been happening over there. Because of the fact that there's so many drug addicts and crazy people, it's hard to tell one from the other. But some drugs do have telltale signs, like the meth, they get the pick scars. So yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about trying what I can do to try to make things better. Always start at home. That's one good thing. Make sure you have roof over your head. Your clothes are in good condition. You keep your job. You make sure there's food on the table. Make sure your kids and pets needs are getting met. Make sure, and then if you have extended family that you feel that they legitimately need help, and I say it that way because I have extended family that will do nothing but sit on their ass and demand that you give them money if you give them money at all. They just it's that kind of thing. I think everybody at least knows somebody like that. Um, so like if you're wanting to help like extended family, like I got a niece in Kentucky who has two little girls, and if I had the extra money, I could help her because I noticed she's sending me these links saying that I need to do the thing so she can get $100, and I don't want to do the thing because I don't want all these stupid apps on my phone clogging up my phone that I'm never going to use. Um, but I do know why she needs the $100, because she has two little kids. And I would love to be able to help her, but I can't. I'm barely able to help myself right now. But like a situation like that where you know this person legitimately needs help, the person is legitimately disabled, the person is legitimately elderly, you know, they can't do things for themselves, so you would want to help them out so they don't wind up in the streets, um, that kind of thing. And then you would look into community charities or things like that. Like, can we donate to an agency that's going to do the things that we see are in need in our community? Because I think that might be personal funding or crowdfunding, or however they call it, might be a way for people to get the funds that they need for some of the things that they need to do. And I know that's part of the reason why, if I can afford to do charity work again, I might give some money to Scraps, because they actually came out. They actually, even if he died and they couldn't save him, they actually tried. They let me try to save him. Um, that poor little kitty. I don't know why people do stuff like that, but I was actually allowed to try to save him, and even if we didn't save him, I still tried and efforts were made, and that's really good. And it sounds like they got a whole bunch of cats, and most of the other cats they caught were not in as bad a shape as he was, so that's really good. That they can maybe save most of those other cats. Uh, so that's a good thing. So I'm hoping that people can be positive. Like I said, if you guys have ideas that people might actually want to buy, that I might be able to make, um, um, I don't know what's going on with my face right now. We're probably getting another storm, and my system's freaking out a little bit. Yeah, but if there's ideas for things to make, if there's topics you want me to look up, or maybe you're having a hard time finding information on something, um, if you have questions about like even what I'm going through, just not too personal, because I went through some fucking shit, and let's just say people don't wind up with as many filters, brain filters missing as I have, unless they've been through some shit. So there are some things I may not feel comfortable answering, but like things like domestic violence, how to escape, that also depends on what country you're in. Because some countries you're just screwed, and then other countries there's the laws are super strict, and then in other countries um, it seems like you can just go into hiding. Like in the US, if you take off and just go into hiding, if you don't have kids, you could just leave and nobody cares. Um, but it gets really weird in some areas, especially if you have kids. So you want to make sure the laws are on your side, or go into some kind of like, there's still a domestic violence underground railroad in the States. I just don't have a clue where they are or how to get a hold of them anymore. I lost contact with my contact. But I don't know how legal that is, so just be aware of that. But like stuff like that, stuff that people might want to talk about, stuff that people might want to buy. Like I might even do some stitching classes. I just don't know how to do it here, and I don't know how to like have somebody else hold my phone so that I can record me stitching. Um, but I know other people. There's other YouTubers that have better setups that do that kind of stuff. So yeah, maybe even I can help people find patterns at reasonable prices or free. Um, let's see how that goes. I don't know. We'll figure it out together. Let's see if we can make this better. I might need a nap. I hope everybody's having a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.